Have you ever wondered why some men seem to attract women effortlessly, without flashing money, driving luxury cars, or even saying much at all? What if I told you that what truly draws women in goes way beyond your bank account? And here's the surprising part. These traits, they're already within your reach, no matter where you're starting from. Hey there, welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into one of the biggest lies in modern dating, the belief that women only care about how much money a man makes. It's a message that's been repeated so many times, it almost feels like an undeniable truth. But let's set the record straight. Yes, financial stability has its place, it matters, but it's not what truly captures a woman's heart. Not in the long run. What really draws women in at a biological and psychological level are traits that run far deeper than your wallet. We're talking about qualities like calm confidence, direction, self-respect, and inner stability. And the best part? These are all things you can build. They're not dependent on how rich you are or what kind of background you came from. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 6 powerful qualities that women secretly value more than money. These aren't gimmicks or one-time tactics. They're lasting traits that show you're the kind of man she can count on. If you've ever found yourself asking, why do some guys get amazing women without even trying? This video is going to open your eyes. Let's start with trait number 1, high value. Presence, biological attractiveness. There's a certain kind of man who doesn't have to raise his voice or show off to be noticed. He walks into a room and without even trying, shifts the energy. It's not because of designer clothes or flashy accessories. It's because of something deeper, instinctive, ancient. His presence speaks louder than his words ever could, and women feel it before they even understand it. It's not just attraction, it's recognition. It taps into something buried deep in her psychology, something evolution hardwired into her to seek out. Women are naturally drawn to what feels steady, safe, and strong. It's in their DNA. And when a man carries himself with quiet composure, with direction and dignity, without needing anyone's approval, he becomes magnetic. Not because he's trying to impress, but because he's showing who he truly is. This man doesn't need to prove his confidence. It's visible in his stillness. He doesn't chase validation. His path speaks for itself. And that quiet certainty, that's what makes others, especially other men, take notice. And that is where high value begins. It starts with how you're seen by other men. Do they respect you? Do they see you as someone who holds his ground? Because when you're respected by men, women sense it. It signals something primal, that you can lead, protect, and stay steady through the storm. She may not know why, but she notices how you move. She feels the way you walk with calm intention, the firmness in your tone, and the way you stay grounded when others get shaken. You don't have to say a word, because your energy says it all. A high-value presence doesn't need to pursue it. Draws others in. The kind of attraction it creates, it's deeper than looks. It's rooted in biology. It touches something ancient, something evolutionary. There's a reason why some men are unforgettable. It's not because they demanded attention, but because they radiated presence. Not through noise, but through stillness. Not through charm, but through composure. And in a world full of loud images and empty performances, a man with quiet strength, he's rare, and what's rare becomes valuable. So ask yourself, can she feel you even when you're silent? Because that's where true attraction begins. So as we just saw, Real presence isn't about being loud or flashy, it's about being grounded, composed, and quietly powerful. Now let's take it one step further. Trait number 2, sociability, social proof and influence. There's something quietly captivating about a man who feels completely at ease in a room full of people. He doesn't need to be the center of attention. He doesn't force himself into conversations or try to outshine anyone, yet people naturally gravitate toward him. Why? Because he's tuned in. He reads the room without effort. He knows when to speak and when to simply listen. His energy doesn't demand space, it creates comfort. People laugh around him, not because he's putting on a show, but because his presence feels real, relaxed, and trustworthy. It's not about cracking the funniest joke, it's about knowing when to laugh, when to connect, and how to make others feel seen. And here's the thing, women pick up on this, even if they can't explain why. Her instincts tell her, this man is safe. This man is someone others trust. This man is someone I can remember. Sociability isn't about being loud, extroverted, or the life of every party. It's about being emotionally available in social situations. It's about being grounded enough to connect, not to perform. When a man interacts comfortably with others, when he's welcomed by his community, when people listen to him and laugh with him, it sends a deep, primal signal to a woman. It says, he belongs. And in evolutionary terms, that matters a lot. Women are wired to notice who the tribe accepts. A man who is respected by others is seen as dependable, emotionally intelligent, and socially validated. He's not just likable, he's reliable. He's someone others follow, someone people lean on. That kind of man doesn't need to prove anything. His social bonds say it all. When she sees people naturally gravitate toward you, when she sees you're respected, welcomed, and included, it tells her something important. You know how to navigate life. You're not isolated, you're connected. And you're connected for a reason. That's social proof. And it's powerful. It silently answers one of the biggest unspoken questions a woman has when meeting a man. If I open myself to this person, will I feel safe? Will I be heard? Will I be valued? A man with solid, authentic social ties answers that question without needing to say a word. Now, building this kind of presence takes more than just surface-level charm. It starts with genuine communication, not performative small talk. It's in how you remember people's names, how you ask thoughtful questions, how you listen without interrupting, how you make others feel like they matter. It's in the confidence to lead when it counts, but also the humility to let others shine. That balance shows maturity. In humor, it matters too. Not the kind you rehearse in front of a mirror, but the natural, in-the-moment kind. The kind of quick wit that shows you're fully present, awake, and aware of the room's vibe. That's the kind of humor that makes people want to stay around you. You don't need to dominate every room or party. But if you can nurture friendships, build your circle, and consistently show up for others, then you become someone people trust. And trust is one of the most attractive qualities of all. So as we just covered, when a woman sees that others trust you, she doesn't just notice you, she begins to believe in you. That social credibility makes her wonder, who is this man, really? And that curiosity? It's the spark that often lights the path to something deeper. Trait number 3, self-confidence, internal power and trust. Before you even speak a word, a woman can often feel something about you. It's not what you say, it's how you enter a room, how you carry yourself, and how your eyes meet hers, not with neediness or approval seeking, but with quiet certainty. This unspoken energy isn't arrogance. It's alignment. And that's what makes it powerful. Nothing pulls a woman closer than a man who trusts himself first before expecting anyone else to. Because when you trust yourself, you move through life with intention, not hesitation. Real confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need to overpower others or chase attention. It's steady like the calm in the center of a storm. It's the kind of grounded energy that says, I know who I am. And a woman senses that immediately. She notices the steadiness in your voice, the clarity in your decisions, and the absence of neediness behind your words. It shows up in the little things. The pause before you respond. The patience in how you listen. The way you observe instead of performing. That kind of energy, it's magnetic not because it demands anything, but because it offers something rare, emotional safety. And that safety isn't just about protecting her physically. It's about being a stable place emotionally. A woman relaxes when she's with a man who isn't easily thrown off balance. Why? Because it signals something crucial. She won't have to carry the emotional weight alone. Even if she can't say it outright, that stability, that inner calm is often what she's looking for. But here's the truth. Becoming that kind of man isn't about pretending to be unbothered. It's not about faking alpha energy or wearing a mask of detachment. It's about doing the internal work, quietly, consistently. It begins in the small private moments. When you set a goal and actually follow through. When you catch yourself about to react and instead respond. When you stop needing noise, praise, or external validation just to feel good about yourself. When you learn to enjoy your own company and feel whole even when you're alone. That's emotional independence. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're not dependent on someone else to feel worthy. You bring your whole self to the table, not half of one. Women don't fall for perfection. They fall for presence. They notice the man who walks without rushing, who decides without fear, who stands without waiting for applause. Because in today's noisy world, that kind of presence is rare. And anything rare becomes unforgettable. Stillness. That's what it comes down to. Stillness creates trust. And when a man trusts himself fully, he no longer has to convince anyone of his worth. She can feel it. And she doesn't need to question it. Because confidence isn't something you perform. It's something you live. So, when your confidence is real, when it's lived, not performed, she feels it before you ever have to prove it. And that's exactly what sets the foundation for something even more powerful. Trait number 4. Leadership, direction, presence, and decision-making. Every relationship has an unspoken rhythm. And that rhythm flows best when a man knows how to lead, not through control or force, but through steady, grounded direction. When he hesitates, the rhythm stumbles. But when he moves with calm certainty, everything begins to align. Leadership in love isn't about dominance. It's not about barking orders or always being in charge. True leadership is about direction. It's about stepping forward when things feel unclear. It's about being the steady one when life gets shaky. For many women, that kind of calm, quiet leadership creates something deeply valuable, space to fully relax into her femininity. Even the most independent, capable, and successful woman carries a silent wish to not have to hold everything all the time. She doesn't want to lose control of her life. She simply wants someone who can carry a bit of the weight beside her. Someone who isn't afraid to make decisions. Someone who knows where he's going and walks forward with intent, not hesitation. You see this leadership in the little things. When he chooses a restaurant without nervously asking, "Well, what do you want?" When he plans a day with confidence instead of putting the entire responsibility on her. When he notices a shift in her mood and addresses it with care, rather than pretending it's not there. These small moments reveal much deeper truth. This man knows how to hold the moment without fear, and that matters more than many realize. Leadership doesn't start in dramatic gestures or big life choices. It begins in the quiet corners of your everyday routine. It's in how you express what you want, stand by your word, and move with intention. It's in choosing the direction and only adjusting when necessary. Not to please, not to avoid conflict, but to grow, to improve, and to move forward together. Because here's the truth. A woman feels safest when she senses you're not afraid to carry the moment, especially when she's grown weary of doing it all alone. She's not looking for someone to take over her life, but she's looking for someone who won't hesitate when it's time to step up. Why? Because a woman cannot fully relax into softness when she feels unsure about the direction. If you hesitate, she will step in not because she wants to, but because she has to. That's survival mode. And it's exhausting. But if you lead with steadiness, with clarity and calm action, she begins to lean in. Not just because you're strong, but because you make her feel safe. And safety? It isn't built on promises or poetic words. It's built on action, on presence, on the ability to guide when decisions need to be made, not with ego, but with confidence that doesn't waver. So when a man leads with clarity and steadiness, something shifts. She no longer has to be on edge. She doesn't have to correct, guide, or carry the weight of uncertainty. She can simply be. And that freedom to let go, to relax, is what draws her closer. Not to perfection, but to presence with purpose. Trait #5. Purpose, life mission, and long-term vision. Something unmistakably magnetic about a man who knows exactly where he's going in life. It's not about how much money he makes or how many women notice him. What captivates people, especially women, is the mission he's on. A man with purpose wakes up every day with a deeper reason. He's not just chasing pleasure or running from boredom. He's chasing something meaningful, something that stretches far beyond the surface. And often, women feel drawn to this without even understanding why. It's in his eyes. It's in the way he moves through the world with direction, conviction, and an almost unshakable belief that life is meant to be more than just existing. He's not floating through life, he's carving a path. And that distinction makes all the difference. Because when a man lives with purpose, every action feels intentional. You hear it in the way he talks about his vision. You see it in how he faces obstacles not as setbacks but as steps. It's reflected in his posture, his planning, and the energy he brings to even the smallest daily routines. Purpose adds weight to a man's presence. It makes him someone others naturally respect and want to be around. But here's where many go wrong. True purpose isn't vague ambition or wishful thinking. It's not just wanting more or saying big things. Real purpose requires clarity. It means asking yourself the uncomfortable questions. What do I want my life to stand for? What will I leave behind when I'm gone? What matters to me deeply? Without that clarity, a man often drifts from job to job, from woman to woman, from one shallow pursuit to the next. He stays busy, but directionless. But when you define your mission, when you chase goals that stretch you, that challenge you, that actually mean something, your life begins to radiate strength. And that energy? That's what women respond to. Because a man who is driven by something larger than himself isn't just living, he's thriving. He's building, he's contributing. And whether that mission is building a business, uplifting his community, or becoming a stronger version of himself, it gives his life weight, direction, and meaning. Women are naturally drawn to men who are building something lasting. Men who are creating impact, not just chasing comfort. Because let's face it, comfort doesn't change the world. Purpose does. And when you start living with that kind of purpose, your energy shifts. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. And that design, that intention, makes you a man people notice. And more importantly, a man they remember. Now let's move to the final trait, one that reveals not only how you lead your life, but how deeply you understand the emotional world of a woman. So, we just explored how a man with purpose, who lives for something bigger than himself, naturally commands attention. Not because he seeks it, but because people can feel the weight of his mission. And that kind of energy? It's unforgettable. Now, let's talk about a trait that might be quieter, but just as powerful, especially in how a woman feels when she's around you. Trait #6. Emotional stability, calmness, and self-control. In today's chaotic, overstimulated world, one of the most attractive qualities a man can have is calm. It's not just about staying cool when someone cuts you off in traffic or when plans fall apart. It's about emotional maturity, your ability to stay grounded when life doesn't go your way. And more importantly, your ability to regulate your own emotions before they spill out onto others. For women, this emotional steadiness is more than just a nice trait. It's essential. It tells her she's safe with you, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. That she won't have to brace herself every time tension rises. Because here's the truth. A woman doesn't just want connection, she wants emotional safety. Emotional regulation doesn't mean bottling things up or staying silent in conflict. It means creating a space where both of you can be heard, even when the conversation is tough. It's about responding with presence, not reacting out of habit. And when a man can do that, when he can stay composed in heated moments, it builds something incredibly rare. Trust. Think about it. When things get hard, misunderstandings, stress, emotional flare-ups, will you be the storm or the anchor? Because the man who stays calm while the room heats up becomes the one people look to for direction. Women notice this. They pay attention to how you respond when you're hurt, frustrated, or misunderstood. Do you lash out? Do you shut down? Or do you take a breath, pause, and choose your words with care? This kind of emotional maturity doesn't happen overnight. It's something you build moment by moment through mindfulness, self-awareness, and honest reflection. The more you understand your triggers, your patterns, your thoughts, the better you can manage your emotions instead of letting them manage you. And this is where practices like Stoicism can be life-changing. Accepting what you can't control, choosing clarity over chaos, responding with intention instead of emotion. These are the marks of a man in control, not of others, but of himself. When you're faced with rejection or conflict, and you can pause instead of explode, that moment becomes a turning point. And over time, your consistency in how you respond, especially in the little things, starts to shape how others experience you. Because emotional stability isn't a one-time act. It's a way of being. It's showing up day after day with the same calm energy. It's handling challenges with thoughtfulness, not impulse. And eventually, your steady presence becomes something people depend on. And that is where real connection begins. Now that we've explored all 6 traits, Let's bring everything together and talk about how to embody these qualities in your own life. Starting today. So as we've just seen, emotional stability isn't just a nice trait, it's a cornerstone of trust. When a man can remain calm in a chaotic world, he becomes a safe space, an anchor. And that steady presence? It's what gives love room to grow. Now, let's talk about how to build that presence, because attracting the right kind of woman and creating meaningful, lasting connection starts with one powerful principle: self-improvement. If you want to form real bonds built on respect, admiration, and trust, then self-improvement isn't optional. It's essential. It's tempting to believe that the perfect outfit, the latest tech, or a flashy lifestyle will set you apart. But here's the truth. Those things are just surface level. The real magnetism, the kind that holds a woman's attention long after the moment passes, comes from what's built within. Becoming a high-value man doesn't mean becoming perfect. It means becoming the strongest version of yourself. It's about developing traits that reflect your independence, your discipline, and your confidence, not for show, but for yourself. Take finances, for example. Improving your financial life isn't about flexing or showing off your income. It's about creating freedom. Freedom to choose, to support, to build a life on your terms. Financial security says something deeper. It tells the world you're capable, grounded, and in control of your environment. And women notice that. They're naturally drawn to men who can stand on their own. Men who don't get rattled by life's curveballs. A man who builds stability for himself signals that he can help build it for someone else too. Now let's talk about physical fitness. It's not just about looking good. It's about showing dedication to your health. A regular fitness routine communicates discipline. It shows that you care for your body, that you value strength, vitality, and self-respect. And there's something undeniably attractive about a man who takes care of himself, because it signals that he knows his worth. When you feel strong, you act strong. That inner confidence, it's visible. It's magnetic. It shows up in how you move, how you speak, and how you show up for others. Then there's style and grooming. You don't need to be a fashion expert or obsess over trends. But how you present yourself says a lot. A clean, sharp appearance reflects self-respect. It tells people, especially women, that you value yourself and the image you bring into the world. Good grooming shows awareness, discipline, pride, and that makes a powerful impression. But none of this truly works if one key element is missing: communication. Without it, your looks, your muscles, your success, they fall flat. A man who can express his thoughts clearly, listen with focus, and engage with sincerity is instantly more attractive than one who can't. Because communication is more than words. It's connection. It builds trust. It creates intimacy. It shows intelligence and emotional depth. And most importantly, it makes a woman feel heard and understood. And isn't that what we all want, to be seen and understood? In the final section, we'll bring all 6 traits together and talk about how to embody them, not just for attraction, but for your own personal power and growth. So as we just discussed, good communication is essential, but so is knowing how to lead, and not just in business or career, but in conversations, in relationships, and in the way you live your life. Because here's the truth. Leadership isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about direction. It's about taking initiative, moving with intention, and making decisions rooted in integrity and calm intelligence. Women are naturally drawn to men who lead not by force, but by clarity. Men who can inspire, who create safety through steadiness, and who make others, especially women, feel supported, valued, and understood. That kind of leadership doesn't require a title or a spotlight. It simply requires consistency and emotional depth. At the end of the day, you don't need a perfect jawline, six-pack abs, or a luxury lifestyle. What you do need are the traits that speak to your core: self-confidence, association, strength, purpose, direction, presence. These are what activate true biological attraction in women. Not the flex, not the flash, but the depth. Because women don't fall for perfection, they fall for progress. For men who show up as they are, own their journey, and lead with quiet power. When you commit to becoming the best version of yourself, not just for others, but for you, you naturally attract the right kind of woman. The kind who respects your growth, supports your vision, and meets you in the middle of something real. Let's put one myth to rest once and for all: the belief that women only care about money. It's not just outdated, it's misleading. Yes, financial stability matters, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. What truly captivates a woman, what earns her admiration and long-term respect, are qualities that run much deeper: confidence that isn't loud, but steady; leadership that doesn't dominate, but guides; a sense of purpose that can't be faked; emotional stability that brings peace, not chaos. These aren't traits you're born with, they're skills. And like any skill, they can be developed with practice, reflection, and intentional living. And when you do that, something powerful happens. You don't just become attractive, you become magnetic. So let this be your reminder: you don't need a perfect face. You don't need a luxury car. You need presence. You need purpose. You need the courage to grow. Every step you take toward becoming that man, more focused, more calm, more self-assured, brings you closer to the life, the love, and the respect you deserve. Now I'd love to hear from you. What's one trait you're currently working on? And how has it shaped your relationships or your confidence so far? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if this video gave you something valuable to think about, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more insights coming your way on attraction, growth, and what it truly means to become a high-value man. Until next time, keep becoming.